Hello, everyone. Today, we're going to dive into an exciting topic in Unit 6, which is all about survival. This lesson is particularly interesting because we'll be focusing on the vocabulary and listening skills related to survival equipment. Imagine you're out in the wilderness. What kind of tools and gear would you need to stay safe and find your way? By the end of today's lesson, you'll not only be familiar with essential survival equipment, but you'll also be able to predict and understand some of the things you might hear in real-life survival situations. So, let's get started and prepare ourselves for any challenge nature might throw our way. Alright, class, let's take a look at some important vocabulary words we'll be using today. These words are crucial for our lesson on survival, so let's go through each one together. Compass, noun, KMPS. This is a tool that helps you find directions, very useful when you're out in the wild. The Vietnamese translation is La Ban. First aid kit, noun, FSD-ED-KT. This is a small box or bag that contains medical supplies to treat minor injuries. The translation is Hop So Ku. Torch, noun, TT. This is what we call a flashlight in British English, used to light up dark areas. The Vietnamese word is Den Pin. Experienced, adjective, KSB Re. NSD. This describes someone who has a lot of knowledge or skill in a particular area. The translation is Ko Kin Neem. Tough, adjective, TF. This word means something that is difficult or strong, often used to describe challenging conditions. In Vietnamese, it's Catch Giat. Challenge, noun, tail, end. This is something that tests your abilities, like a difficult task or situation. The translation is Tu Tarch. Challenging, adjective, tail, N.D. This word describes something that is difficult in a way that tests your abilities. It's similar to challenge, but used as an adjective. The translation is Day Tarch Thuk. Okay, class, let's move on to Activity 1. In this activity, we're going to match the objects numbered 1 to 11 in the picture with the words in the box. Take a look at the picture and the words provided. You can see various pieces of survival equipment, such as a tent, sleeping bag, rope, and more. First, try to match each number in the picture to the correct word in the box. Once you've done that, we'll listen to the audio to check if we got the answers right. Let's go through the words together before you start. Tent, sleeping bag, rope, map, water bottle, mirror, lighter, compass, first aid kit, torch, knife. Now, take a minute to match the numbers with the correct words. If you're not sure, just make your best guess. After everyone is done, we'll listen to the audio and confirm the correct answers. Let's see how well we do. Great job, everyone. Let's quickly review the correct answers. Tent, sleeping bag, rope, map, water bottle, mirror, lighter, compass, first aid kit, torch, knife. How did you do? Did anyone get all of them right? Well done if you did. If not, don't worry, this is all part of learning. Let's move on to the next activity.
Unit 6. Vocabulary and Listening. Exercise 1. 1,
Tent,
2,
sleeping bag,
3,
rope,
4,
map,
5,
water bottle,
6,
mirror,
7,
lighter,
8,
compass,
9,
first aid kit,
10,
torch,
11,
knife.
Now let's take a look at Activity 2. Here, we're going to read the introduction to something called the Desert Challenge. This is a tough desert survival course designed for over 13-year-olds. Participants will spend 5 days in the desert with experienced guides, and during this time, their survival skills will be put to the test. They'll also learn about the desert environment. At the end of the course, those who complete the challenge will receive the Desert Challenge Award. Before you can join, though, you need to be fit and prepare very carefully. So, thinking about this desert trek, which items from Exercise 1 do you think people will probably need? Look at the list of items on the right side of the screen. For example, I think people will probably need a tent to sleep in, a compass to help navigate, a lighter to start fires, and definitely water bottles to stay hydrated. What do you think? What other items might be necessary for this challenge? Take a moment to discuss with your partner or write down your thoughts, then we'll share ideas with the class. Great suggestions. Everyone, it's important to think about what you need in such a challenging environment. Being well prepared is key to survival, especially in extreme conditions like the desert. Now let's move on to activity 3. In this activity, we will listen to a person named Kay Freeman as she talks about a survival course she attended. Your task is to identify which pieces of equipment from exercise 1 she mentions as being useful. First, let's quickly review the items we identified in exercise 1. Tent, sleeping bag, rope, map, water bottle, mirror, lighter, compass, first aid kit, torch, knife. Now, listen carefully to the audio and see if you can pick out which of these items Kay says were useful during her course. As you listen, try to match the items she talks about to the numbers on the screen. Are you ready? Let's start the audio. Alright, let's check the answers together. According to Kay Freeman, the useful equipment were water bottles, tent, sleeping bag, knife, mirror, torch. Let's move on to activity 4. For this activity, we'll be reading and listening to a text about the Desert Challenge course. Your task is to complete the sentences with the correct answer based on what you hear and read. First, let's quickly go over the sentences together. To go on the Desert Challenge course. A. You must be under 13. B. You must see a doctor. C. You should come with a friend. You must take a lot of water because A. You'll need it for cooking. B. You'll get very thirsty. C. You won't find any in the desert. When it gets hot. A. You mustn't take your clothes off. B. You should wear shorts and a t-shirt. C. You should drink a lot of water. If you get lost. A. You should wait for help to arrive. B. You should use your mirror to signal for help. C. You should use your map to get out of the desert. As you can see, the correct answers are already marked, but now I want you to listen carefully to the text to understand why these answers are correct. After we listen, we'll discuss each answer together to make sure everything is clear. Alright, did everyone follow along? Let's quickly review why these answers are correct. For question 1, the correct answer is B because you must see a doctor before participating to ensure you're healthy enough. For question 2, the answer is C since finding water in the desert is extremely difficult, so you need to bring enough with you. For question 3, A is correct because even though it's hot, keeping your clothes on protects you from the sun. Finally, for question 4, B is the correct choice because using a mirror to signal for help is crucial if you're lost in the desert. Does anyone have any questions about these answers? If not, great job. Let's move on to the next part of the lesson. Let's move on to activity 5. In this activity, you will work in pairs. Imagine that you're planning a 2-day trek in Cortien National Park, where you'll be camping in the forest. Your task is to decide which 5 items from the list in exercise 1 would be the most useful for survival in this situation, and explain why. You can see the list of items on the screen. Compass, first aid kit, knife, lighter, map, mirror, rope, sleeping bag, tent, torch, water bottle. Talk with your partner and discuss which items you think are essential for your trek and why. For example, in the speech bubbles, you see a suggestion that a water bottle is the first priority because staying hydrated is crucial. Another suggestion is that you will need a tent to provide shelter. Remember, you need to agree on 5 items. Once you've made your decisions, we'll share and compare choices with the class. Take a few minutes to discuss and come up with your list. Great work, everyone. It's important to think carefully about what you'll need in the wild. Your selections show that you're considering how to stay safe and prepared in a challenging environment. Alright, class, before we finish up today, let's go over your homework. First, make sure to learn by heart all the new words we covered today. These are important vocabulary words that you'll need to remember. Second, complete the exercises in your workbook on page, insert page number here. These exercises will help reinforce what we learned today. Finally, prepare for Lesson 5 Language Focus. We'll be diving deeper into some important grammar and language structures, so make sure you review the material we've covered so far. If you have any questions or need help with anything, feel free to ask before you leave. Otherwise, have a great day, and I'll see you in the next lesson.